Welcome to the weekly Wowos. I've been running around trying to make sure I can catch up with Koja Ismail Chionga so that we give you this interesting sit down about the Chan tournament that is happening in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Of the three hosts, only Uganda was not able to win the opening game. And a clash yesterday with the third ranked team in Africa, Algeria, which was a bit difficult for the hosts. Not a good way to start off things. But Koja Ismail Chionga is here to break down everything for us. My name is Dennis Musale, and I'm your weekly host of the Weekly Wowos. And welcome to an edition where we are going to be talking purely football. And that we'll be talking about the opening game of the Chan tournament for the one of the co-host countries, Uganda. Uganda yesterday going down 3-0 against a very, very, very good Algerian team. Depending on which side you are, there's some of us who are neutrals. We enjoy the football, but of course, if you're patriotic, Uganda unfortunately leaving a bit of a sour taste in the mouth with that defeat. Given that the game was at 8 p.m., there were fans in that stadium as early as 4 p.m., which was a very, very good sight to see as well. It's been a while. Since Namboole was full, so there was really a lot of people who came through to support the team. And I think that's where we'll start the conversation from. But that's the Mandela National Stadium, Namboole, a very, very beautiful ground. And I think there's been a lot of work put in, especially by the CAF team and the local organizing committee, to make sure that the aesthetics in the ground are very, very good, because it was some very good eye candy, LED screens for the first time, and even all the branding around the ground was really very amazing. So there's been a lot of work that has been put in by the CAF team and the local organizing team, so kudos to them. But I'll introduce my guest today, our resident football expert, one of you would say the founders of Kawowo Sports. He's been here, done that. Ismail Chionga, welcome.
Thank you. It's been long since I last been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're dodging me, but I always find you.
Not really. It's been some busy time as we prepared for the Chan.
Yeah.
Now that it's started, maybe you'll see me more often.
Yeah. Now that the tournament is underway, let's start with before we get into the detail of the game itself. But the crowd that came out at Namboole. Namboole is not an easy venue to get to, given there was a lot of traffic yesterday trying to get to Namboole. But there was even a good number of fans that came to watch the first game, which was between Niger and Guinea. Let's speak about the numbers. Were you impressed by the crowd?
Yeah. And as expected, I thought Ugandans have always watched the Uganda Queens play, especially at Namboole. Of course, this was a local site where I think not so many guys would turn up, because sometimes they turn up to see the likes of, say, Aucho Kali, Denison Young, Ibrahim Sekaja, but they followed the norm, regardless of this being a local site full of stars from the UPL. They showed up, and remember, the fee was manageable, because previously, I remember here writing an article that caused pandemonium at Fufa House.
An article that shook some tables.
Yeah. But this time around, the Confederation of African Football is here, and they say football should be cheap. A ticket goes for 10,000, and it gets you to watch 2 matches. So in reality, it's 5K per game, although it's bought at once. You cannot just say, I'm going to watch Uganda or Guinea, so let me pay 5K. But the turn-up was beautiful, and I somehow expected it, because after what happened in Tanzania on Saturday and then Kenya on Sunday, the expectations always low. So by the time we got on Monday, everybody was already excited about Chan being here, Chan being in South Africa. The Pamoja was now a reality, and so it was beautiful seeing nearly fully packed stadium in the stands. Of course, the stadium is now very beautiful. It looks better than the last time many of them were there, because of the works by CAF, the works by UPDF. Of course, the branding mainly by CAF made it look so nice, and also the exit routes to the stadium. If people realized those exit routes, just in case of emergency, that goes to the pitch from the stands, were never there, but currently they are there. Then a stand for the disabled, I think 2 of them. So everything was beautiful, right from the branding. For the first time, many people are seeing the electronic leadboards for the first time, and they are going to stay here. Of course, the VAR, not so many people realized that the referee was always consulting VAR, like I think on 4 occasions.
Yeah.
Because for them, they think he has to just run to the monitor. And I wanted that moment for the fans that were in the stands to cheer up, enjoy, and something like that. But it never happened. But of course, there are 4 occasions on which the referee was trying to consult with VAR. And on all those 3, it was checking a potential penalty for the Algerians. But the fans, beautiful. They supported the team until the last 15, 20 minutes when they realized that this was not going to be a win for the nation or a draw. But then the Algerians were going to take the day. For the offsides, the referees never get to the monitor because there are always lines, and I think people on TV saw those lines. It's always mainly a red card incident or a potential red card, a penalty that is doubtable. That's when they always run to the monitor. And unfortunately, those incidents never happened for Ugandans to see the referee run to the monitor. The people that I was seated with were always asking, where is the VAR monitor? And I think many people left without even seeing where it was, but it was just under the VIP section.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just behind where the players sit.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the atmosphere at the Namboole Stadium. Of course, the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, was in attendance as well as the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Museveni. She also came through. So there was, I think, Motsepe would be impressed by the crowd that came out to watch a night match, where maybe they didn't expect so much from the result, but at least that atmosphere was created on. It would have been a bit disappointing if the opening game by the host nation does not have a good enough crowd.
Yeah, he must have been impressed. Remember, for the CHAN and 2027 AFCON to be hosted in East Africa, he was a major part in that, especially in the decisions, because I was following his net as CAF, and many thought Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania were not ready on so many things, the quality of the stadium, the infrastructure and everything like that. But Motsepe insisted that this is their time, they have to do it. He's been in Kenya. He watched the game between Kenya and DRC. He watched the game between Burkina Faso and Tanzania, and I expected him to be in Kampala, which happened. So he must have been impressed because, you know, when hosting such tournaments, the moment the tournament kicks off is when you get relieved as CAF, because you gave the bid to the people that not so many people expected. And when the game kick off, that's when you get relieved. He was relieved after Tanzania doing so against Burkina Faso, Kenya doing so against DRC, and if he was in any doubt about a possibility of Uganda hosting such a tournament, then he was relieved at kickoff because the stands were fully packed, closely to full capacity. I'm told a few fans were left out of the stadium at the gates because they came late. So maybe this should be a lesson to many Ugandans that have always wanted to do things late. Because remember, these tickets have been sold online. Yeah. And so many people.
And there were a couple of physical tickets available as well.
Yeah, but I'm told they are not even physical. But then they are just helping you.
Oh, okay, to buy online.
To buy online, and then they give you a printed paper, a printed ticket. So it must have been that everything was done online. Yeah. But then maybe FUFA, through technology, was given a bunch. I think around 2,000 tickets. Yeah. Because when I asked somebody who did buy from FA, he said they are giving us just a printed paper. Then I realized that everything was online, but maybe simplified for people that are not accustomed to this.
Yeah, if you don't have a smartphone or something.
Yeah, so many people out there have smartphones.
Yeah.
But you see, we have a tendency of making things difficult. The Baganda have a saying that amaso g'omuganda gali mu ngalo. So Ugandans will always want to touch in order to feel and see. Maybe this is going to be a lesson, because I believe it's easier to get
Buy
your
online.
ticket online than investing transport and time to go to maybe Fufa House, Total, anything, Cyber, Fufa, I mean, hardware world that like we've always done when it comes to Uganda Cranes matches, especially in the qualifiers for the World Cup and AFCON.
Yeah.
This time around, this should be the norm. And just get online, get your ticket. Don't wait for time to get closer to kickoff, and then you're like, hey, njagala ticket, because we saw on the morning of Monday when we played, when you tried to buy via online, they could put you in a queue, and they could show you your number 900 out of, say, 1,200 people that are waiting for this ticket, and a lot missed out. So this should be a lesson to Ugandans.
Yeah, the system got over.
Let's go digital.
Yeah.
Let's go digital. Cases have done it. Vipers have done it. But of course, they always have that physical part of the ticket that are being sold at the stadium. Maybe this should be a lesson. By the time we get to AFCON 2027, everybody should be accustomed to buying these tickets online.
Yeah, everyone should be on board. But also to speak about so many unsung heroes. I was sort of part of the experience at the ground. But so many unsung heroes just trying to make sure they get the game ready. But to speak about the atmosphere as well, in terms of what I saw yesterday, for me who comes from another sport, and the organization that CAF, FUFA have put in was a big lesson. You want to, I don't want to say you want to hate on football, but it is difficult for you. Football is like your ex who moves on, and they keep looking much better than they were with you. This very organized, a lot of things done so well. The media center was fantastic. Maybe there were some things missing, but for me, we haven't even gotten to that level as cricket. So there were so many other things that were done. I saw the volunteers very smartly dressed. They had good kits. They had very good proper branding. The way the young boys would come on and lay down the mat and things like that. There was some detail that was really very good. And for me, who comes from another sport, I was just there. I'm thinking we shouldn't just pick a branch. We should pick pick the whole tree and take it with us. I don't know whether it is the money, that does everything, all of that, but the organization really looks amazing.
Yeah, sometimes you have the money, but then you lack the organization. But you see, most of the people at CAF have been into this for long. That's why experience is very important. And I want to tell Ugandans that when you hear CAF ask for money that is always paid to CAF by government, this is always what it does. But of course, for the last 3-4 weeks, we've seen these volunteers being trained. So whatever they are doing was on script, because CAF has been organizing such tournaments for long. For me, this should be a lesson to not only other sport, but also football as well. Because when you realize and see the organization that was at Namboole on match day, on the opening day for Group C of the Total Chan 2024, and compare it with what we always have when Uganda Cranes are hosting a game that is organized mainly by FUFA, you could see a big difference. Here, the local organizing committee does not just consist of football people, but people in other sports. For instance, William Brick, Dr. Des Mujimba. It's always the government, CAF, and of course the football FA that have always come together. Actually, when organizing things like that, sometimes the FA is ifed out. It just has representatives on the local organizing committee. It's always the local organizing committee, which is comprised of people from the government, people from security, people from whatever sort of stakeholding that football is associated with. So let's pick a lesson, not just other sport, but FIFA as well. That's how people should be treated. That's how journalists should be treated.
Yeah.
For many, they were covering their first tournament. For many, they were very appreciative of whatever was going on. The service in the media tent, the media tribune, the changes that we've seen. Of course, it will change by the time we go into AFCON 2027. The media tribune is going to change position to just close to where the VIP is right now, because they don't want the sun to even hit on us. So a lot of things are going to change. But for starters, let's speak a lesson.
Yeah, soft life.
FIFA should learn how to treat people. We did not hear a lot of incidents about I had my ticket, it failed. But we had that with the trial games. You gotta remember the Premier League games that were played there, and also with games against South Africa, against Guinea, Algeria. This was a different case. The match ticketing, I did not have anyone complain that when they were scanning my ticket, it failed. So everything was smooth. The security, of course, partly because the first family were expected to come, just like the first lady did. So a lot of things from just the gate down here, because previously many people would crowd at these gates, the eastern, the southern, and in the end they broke into the gates even without tickets. But this time around, before you could even get to the parking, everything was sorted down there. There was no crowding. There was no people selling, making Namboole look like a market, just on the outside of the perimeter wall. So everything was smooth. A big lesson. This is how they organize tournaments.
Yeah.
This is how they organize events sportingly. FUFA, UCA, FUBA, URIU, everybody should pick a lesson on how people are treated, because that
A football event is not a chivulu. So
yeah. It's not a chivul whereby you find here one chigere, one somebody. Of course, people we are complaining. We don't have drinks. We don't have this. Yes, those are lessons that we have to pick. And also, the local organizing committee, CAF through the local organizing committee, called people to partner. Because just imagine if it was any of the beverages company that did associate themselves with the local organizing committee. Of course, you pay money, but it's worth it. People did not have what to drink. What about if you say Musari mineral water had just paid, I think, is it 40,000 to partner with CAF to do that? It's something that is recoupable.
Yeah.
So
someone missed out on close to 35K customers yesterday.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
So these are lessons.
That's something I also noticed. They are very, very strict on brands.
Yeah.
That all the water, even the water that was given to the players, had no branding on it.
Yes.
It was just a mineral water bottle.
Even if it was in Nirvana,
Yeah.
the one that is the official sponsor for the Cranes. Yeah. Because this is a CAF tournament, and it goes down to most of these companies that have always got free space on media. It just showed that for such a tournament, you don't pay, you don't get the mileage.
Yeah.
You could see, even if it was a soda, they would scrap off the brand.
Yeah, all of it was.
So that you're not shown on TV. You are on TV because you've paid.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a lot of mileage. Not only in Uganda, but Africa was watching. The world was watching.
Yeah.
Millions of people were watching on TV, away from those that were on the pitch,
at the stadium.
At the stadium. So maybe should also teach everyone, including those companies, that to associate with these people, you're not helping, but you're also gaining.
Yeah, and that is coming from someone who's been at 2 editions of the Africa Cup of Nations. So he's speaking from an informed point of view. Is this a case even when you go to these places that you're not even allowed? Yesterday, water has a bare rest of minimums, but there was nothing like that, as long as, like you've mentioned, you're not a partner for the tournament.
Yeah. You're not a partner for the tournament. And secondly, the people in the stands are mainly there for the game. But you see, when you always watch the Uganda Cranes games or the league games being played, you're watching and the hawker is hawking his water, distracting your vision. So this is a lesson. The cafeteria should be the area where this water, the drinks, the meals, everything can be served. And that's why this stadium have such cafeterias, so that when people are watching football, people watch football on TV. Have you ever seen anybody hawking water through the stands?
No.
It never happens. So people out there, go partner with the CAF, get the local organizing committee, and then you can have those cafeterias filled with your brands.
Yeah, the opportunities for you when the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations comes to Uganda. But that was really the experience at the Namboole Stadium yesterday. Let's now speak about the gist of the matter and the elephant in the room. The game yesterday, Uganda going down by 3-0 against Algeria. Of course, Algeria, one of the favorites in this particular Group C, probably alongside South Africa. But the context of the CHAN tournament is that it's only played by local-based players. So it is your league versus the leagues of the other countries. And sometimes you feel like this is an audition for how far you are in terms of your local league football. Uganda yesterday, unfortunately, failing to impress a very, very expectant crowd that came out losing 3-0. And by, like Ismail has mentioned, I think when the second goal went in, a lot of people started moving out. But I don't think they had even gotten to the Western Gate. And Algeria also struck the third goal. So hammer blow proper. A comfortable win for them, you'd feel, because we didn't test the Algerian goalkeeper that much. But let me start with the lineup. Ismail, the lineup that was put out yesterday by Molebi Ekwaso and Fred Muhumuza. Any surprises for you, or you feel that those were the best 11 players in our local league to try and take on the best 11 players from the Algerian local league?
I've not watched enough training sessions, but the few times I've been there, this was a team that was coached mainly by Paul Put during the sessions. So sometimes it becomes hard for me to say, to put every blame, all praise on Molebi Ekwaso. And when you look at the selection, I was a little surprised. Let's start with the defense. I didn't think Roger Storach or Gideon Odong would start. To be sincere, Hilary Mkundane has been one of the best defenders we have in the league. Of course, not good on the eye, but then he has the pace.
Very combative as well.
Of course, not the size, but he read the game well sometimes. And also, he physically battles. Kind of short, but good in the air. So I didn't expect Roger Storach to start, just like I didn't expect Gideon Odong to start. But of course, if I'm to put myself into the shoes of Coach Mole and his staff, I thought the choice for Torach was about height, because we are facing a team that's good on height. And also, for Gideon Odong, when you watch the 2 games we played prior to this tournament, that was against Senegal and Tanzania, Nicholas Mweli and Herbert Achai did not do themselves any service to be put into the starting 11. I think that's where Gideon Odong comes in, because he really played well against Senegal when we won 2-1. Those were the surprises in defense. Of course, another surprise would be the lady
Nothing about
forward.
Joel Mutakuba. I thought Crispus Chionga had Crispus Kusima for Kitara had a very good season between the posts.
But remember,
he's just recently moved to URA.
Yeah, Joel has been close to this team, even the senior team, because people forget that Joel was in CHAN 2020. He was also at CHAN 2022. So this was the 3rd edition. Of course, the others wasn't the first choice because of, I think, Lukwago and was it Ismail Watenga? But this time around, I thought...
so it's seniority.
Experience, he's been there.
Dennis Chigundu didn't play much for Vipers.
Yeah, Dennis Chigundu is just there as a 3rd choice.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that. But of course, in the
one
tournament,
for the
you never
future.
know. One for the future. So the other surprise in the lineup was Emmanuel Anyama, starting ahead of both Yunus Sentam and Ivan Imbisibwe. To be sincere, I rate Ivan Imbisibwe so highly, but maybe I would also pick something from Coach Molebe's selection that he went for a big lad in attack to lead the line. And I'm impressed he did not do bad, but of course this was a superior team. This was a superior opponent. Yunus Sentam is somebody that will always bring about a debate. But of course, I would prefer him as a wing forward instead of a center one.
Yeah.
But maybe if I was to choose between the two, between Anyama and him, maybe I would have gone with Yunus. So that was a surprise.
Yeah.
The rest, not so surprised. Those were the people that have always been into this team, right from the training session that I've watched, and also the two pre-match games that were played in Arusha.
Yeah.
So the surprises in the lineup, to me, were three. So Roger Storage, I didn't expect him to start. Gideon Odong the same, and Emmanuel Anyama.
All right. Let's split the game into two halves, because technically, the first half, Uganda really tried to sort of match Algeria in performance until they got the goal was like a walk-in header. Our defense was sort of all over the place, flat-footed, and then a simple glance by the Algerian captain into, I would say, an empty net. Nothing Joel Mutakuba could do, honestly. But sort of the pushing, and I don't know where they got lost somehow. They got lost in the transition, and then the captain ended up being very free and nodding the ball home to give Algeria that lead. But before that, Uganda had really tried to, especially for me, I was impressed. Surprise was withdrawn at halftime. I was impressed by Jude Semugabi. He showed some good composure on the right wing, trying to create something, but not much coming out of it. But the first goal, really flat-footed defense, and then Algeria takes the lead, and from there on, they just sort of closed the door on us. There was no other opportunity.
I think we were jittery, especially in the opening minutes. But then I think by the time we got to the 20th minute, we had gone into the game, especially after Joel Sorunjoji getting a grip on it, especially in the midfield. The way we conceded, I think was very unfortunate. And this is something that is about coaching, because this is the same goal we conceded against Mozambique in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. That's the senior team, coached by Paul Put. There is something I don't understand about the way we defend the corners, because when you see the Algerians set up in a cluster away from the penalty area, and instead of having two, for me, even if it were three, because we all knew that regardless of where they are, their aim is to come at our goal.
Yes, come and attack the ball.
But when we when we were conned by their cluster, all our players went into
the cluster,
leaving a space between them and the goalkeeper. And when you realize that the corner taker just decided to put the ball between the goalkeeper and of course the cluster, and somebody was always
find the first man, and then
actually the first man just intentionally missed it. If the producer can show people, because we had three players in yellow against one in white.
Yes, true.
So the guy, how do I term it? In Uganda, we could say Yakubie zero, because he intentionally missed that header. And this was a trick that got our players sucked into his position.
Yeah.
And also, when you stand like that, as they bring a corner, you becoming an attack instead of defending, because one of the principles of defending in football is that as defenders, you shouldn't turn your eyes against your goalkeeper, And it explains why, even when this guy missed the first attempt intentionally, all our people, all the players that were there in Iriero, I think there was Emmanuel Anyama, there was Enoch Sebagala, I forgot the third. They did not want to put their heads on the ball because they are looking at their goalkeeper. So we missed that. I think that was something that tactically we failed, and we've always failed on the senior team as well. Like I've said, people go watch that goal we considered against Mozambique, a similar goal. And in the first half, we gave a lot of the ball, save for Joel Mita, I mean Joel Serunjoji, who consistently tried to pass the ball to Jude Semugabi. What I didn't like about Jude is the fact that he wasn't direct. Every time he received this ball, his back was facing the opponent's goal. And instead of going direct, because I know one of Judy's strengths is to take that ball direct. He has space, he had long strides, but these guys never gave him that opportunity. And it explains why, despite what you call the composure, the coach realized he was not playing to his strength, but was being forced into playing the ball back to either Joel Allen or Patrick Jonah Kakande.
Yeah, or even Gavin.
But we did not test their goalkeeper in the first half, apart from I think Joel tried to shoot and Kakande hit the target. But to be sincere, these guys knew that all we wanted was a goal. And in those first minutes, when we appeared like we had started to get a grip on the game and sitting behind the ball all the time, we did not give them a lot of space.
Yeah.
What they do, they score from another option, which is a set piece, because it rarely happens with the Arabs. But when that chance comes, they have to take it. 1-0 at halftime, you have a lot to do after the break.
Yeah.
In the second half, of course, you expect players that are down to come out in numbers to attack. And in doing so, they left a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
But even before that, I'm very sure their coach spoke about this before they returned for the second half. These guys are going to come at us, soak the pressure. If you don't concede for 15-20 minutes, then get back to your game, take it to them. And it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and at the halftime, that halftime switch, I think, was not a terrible one. Karim Watambala coming on for Jude Semugabi. That allowed Alan Okello to go to the left wing and the right wing, and he sort of started to impose himself on the game. But the sucker punch, of course, came with the second goal and then the third, and it was completely over. He had to even be withdrawn from the game. But I felt that was a good tactical switch from Mohomes and Molebie Kwaso to try and get a grip on the game, because Watambala had a fairly decent game, you would say.
Yeah. I've always told people, sometimes the captain, Alan Okello, drifts in and out of games, especially when played as a 10. And I remember he was playing against a team, all players, some that have watched him play while he was at Paradu. They never gave him space. And if you realize in the first half, just one moment did he have to try and force the game when he crossed to Anyama, who tried to turn beautifully. But of course, the defender had read his move. That was the only time that Alan tried to have an influence on the game in the first half. In the second, after being frayed on the side, because there is always space on the wings, because the players always be trying to protect the goal through the middle, the introduction of Karim Watambala gave us more numbers in midfield. The hard workers, because with Joel Serunjoji, Enoch Sebagala, and now Karim Watambala, these are hard workers, people that are going to chase you with or without the ball, which Alan was failing to do. I think that was a good change. However, like I said, the Algerians, despite that moment of dominance from the Cranes, that was expected. There is something that I've always talked about Uganda, especially in the Premier League, that has always annoyed me. For people that were at Namboole, you realize that at halftime, our substitutes return immediately and sit on the bench. As the 11 that started were still in the changing rooms.
Yeah.
For the Algerians, none returned, which means the coach is speaking to the people that are on the pitch, but also showing these players that could come on.
Yeah.
These are the areas to exploit. This is where they are strong. This is what we should be doing. And how did I realize that ours wasn't a little planned? Look at the way Jude was substituted. He's on the pitch waiting for restart, and then a board comes up. You're going out, and he was a little shocked because he thought he was going to be playing in the second half, at least for the next minutes. Now that tells what was being told to Karim Watambala.
Yeah.
Did he know that he was coming on? Because realistically, Joe did not know that he was getting off. So were the substitutes part of the plan at half time, that when you get on the pitch, when you get this chance, do this and this? Because I think I saw it from the Algerians. And I remember when we made our second change, that's when Shafiq Kwikiriza and Yunus Sentamu came on. They came on, I think, around the 74th minute.
Yeah.
Before they had touched the ball, those guys scored a second. Now, that changes everything. And 2 minutes later, they score a third. By the time they scored a third, Yunus Sentamu didn't barely touch the ball. I think he had 2 touches by the time these guys were scoring the third. So that literally put the game to bed. And though we can lament, we can say everything about how we did not perform, how we were second best, respect to the Algerian. This is the second best league in Africa, and they brought a very mature team. When you look at the team sheet, you could see these players were 25, 26, 27. And now just imagine, you have Emmanuel Anyama debuting at 27 years of age. But these guys have played underage. Now on the national team, their second national team, and they want to dislodge the likes of Riyad Mahrez, Said Ben Rahama. When you look at the goals that we considered against them, especially the third and second, these are the same goals that we considered against these Algerians. I think this was for the first time. You remember the game in Algiers against where one player just took the ball to Aziz Kayondo until into the area. And then I think in Egypt they did the same. Remember the game at Namboole in the World Cup qualifiers? Halidiru Aliwa, Kenese Makura. So they know what we've always done, our weakness. They always capitalize on the break, because they know sometimes when you're chasing a goal, you have to come out in numbers, and it explains why they overloaded the side of Gavin Chizito. I won't say had a stinker, but this was a level where he was tested to the brim, just like many of his teammates, and of course the coaching. To be sincere, these Algerians scored 3 goals without even engaging second gear, because I think maybe after the 70th minute they started to play their top game, got the goals in the last 10 minutes. They were playing walking football, and I think that's where the fans even tried to cheer the opponent. So in my opinion, this is a game that should not make you guys lose a lot of hope, because you are playing one of the best. And if you want to know if these guys are one of the best in Africa, take a scenario. Our best player in the last 7-10 years is Alan Okero. He couldn't make it in their league.
Fit in their league, yeah.
So that tells you the level and the quality of the team they have, the quality of the league they play in, and of course the fact that he even did not fail at USM Alger, MC Alger, or CR Belouizdad, but he failed at a Paladu. Paladu could be compared, I think, to Ball here.
Mid-table team.
But he didn't make a cut. And now you're facing 11 of their best from the league.
Yeah.
What did you expect? Ugandans. Mubereba Mazima. Yes.
And the pick of the goals, I think that goal beautifully taken by the Algerian team. Too much pace and then taking out the goalkeeper, and there's some guy who attracted two defenders, Gavin and someone else. Then just nicked the ball back for his partner, who was able to make sure he completes the finishing touches. But that third goal, very, very beautifully taken by the Algerians. I just wanted to confirm. There are surely some players who had a good run out yesterday. One of the things we say in cricket that you need to be you need to be good in the right moment, and I think Algeria did that better than us for them to score the 3 goals. But some of the players who had a good game yesterday, who do you think had a good game? For me, I thought personally that Joel Salonjoje really played very well in that midfield.
I think he's the only player in the Uganda Cranes jersey that did not deserve to be on the losing side. The rest, I think, did not show up, apart from maybe Karim Watambala when he came on, and a few glimpses of class from Patrick John Kakande. I think it was more of the heart, the attitude, the character than what we've always see him done against defenders in the league. But overall, I just conclude by saying this loss should not deter Ugandans from going to Namboole again, because we still have games against Guinea, Niger, and South Africa. There is still a chance to qualify. And by the way, if Ugandans want to know the level of Algeria in comparison to ours, let them go to Namboole on Friday. Against Guinea, which is our level, we shall be thick.
Uganda will be top notch.
Yes,
Ismail Chioma is urging all of you guys to make sure don't miss a very good game between Uganda and Guinea.
Yeah, of course it will be tough because we saw the Guineans against Niger, and they come into that game on top with a win. But that's our level. The level of Algerians, Morocco, South Africa, of course, South Africa, save for the fact that they did not bring their top team from the league. And also Egypt, of course, they rarely want to play in this tournament. DR Congo, those guys are top. Those guys are top. So against Guinea, we are going to be competitive. And I promise Ugandans, we are going to win that one.
Do you think the team or the coaches will make some changes to the team?
Yeah, there are some players that gave themselves a big chance to play on Friday, and one of them is Karim Watambala. Unfortunately, he's not been talked about enough in the training sessions and the pre-CHAN tournament that we played in Arusha, but that cameo he had. And also, it begs a lot of questions. One, where does Okero play best? Because in the big games, I don't believe Okero can be played as a 10. One, he's not physically imposing, and also he's although he thinks fast with the ball, but against players that think beyond him, he always struggles because they will use their physical strength to displace him, like we saw against the Algerians. So the question is, are you deploying him as a wing forward, like we saw? Because when he went there in the second half, he looked to be the Okero the Ugandans want to see. And that leaves a question. Where does Osama Rafat, Jody Semugabi, Shafiki Nana play? Because after that game, I still believe Karim Watambala should be playing. Of course, Joel, top guy. And Enoko Sebagala improved after the first half. So I believe that midfield stays. And maybe we shall see changes in the center forward line, where maybe Yunus Olaiva and Mbiswe could come out. But I was also impressed by Emmanuel Anyama, by the way. The only problem he got was playing against a superior opponent, and also there are no players playing close to him. I think Alan Okero was into oblivion, especially in the first half. And the questions will be about the center back pairing. Do we stick to that, or we have make changes? Because in the training sessions, it was always Mukundane playing with Odong Arnold. I was shocked that it changed on the last day. because Torach was being paired with Nicolas Mwere, and first with Ronaldoti, who was dropped. So I don't understand where the decision to drop the other two and play Torach. But I expect a change there and also in the forward line. And then the question of Alan Okel,
where does he play?
Yeah.
All right. The next game for the Uganda Cranes will be against Guinea, 8 p.m. on Friday. And that has been a very, very good inside conversation from Koja Ismail Chionga, who has been reviewing for us the first game of the Uganda Cranes in the CHAN tournament that's happening in Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. If Uganda can be able to get good results in their remaining 3 games, they should be able to advance out of the group for the first time. But they have South Africa, Niger, and Guinea coming up for them, and Guinea will be the first game they'll be playing on Friday night. So make sure your weekend can start on Friday, and in a very good way if you come out to Namboole and support the Uganda Cranes. Only 10K for you when you go to Namboole. And I also would like to remind you that on game days, if you cannot be able to make it to Namboole, make sure you go to the Kawowo Sports website. We have our live ticker that is being updated by all our football experts, Joel Muita, David Isavide, Edwin Kalkule, and Ismail Chionga himself. They're always giving you the updates of what's happening at the Namboole Stadium, as well as the match day photos from Don Phil Mugabe and John Batanude at the Mandela National Stadium. So for every game day, if you want to follow the games and you can't get to Namboole, make sure you head to our website, Kawowo Sports, for that match, for that live ticker, for you to be able to follow the action. But we'll be coming to you again next week after Friday to make sure there's a game on Friday. So we'll be coming to you again next week to preview that game, to review that game, and let you know where the Uganda Cranes are at and how far they've been able to go in the tournament. I've had the pleasure of hosting Ismail Chionga, our resident football expert, and I've been your host, Dennis Musali, on the weekly Wowos. And as always, make sure you keep reading Kawowo Sports. Welcome.